Yeah.
Todd, you can just delete them. You don't
Yeah, I
even
have them. I have. I don't have that one, but I'll get it before the.
I just timestamped it, so it wasn't, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
held responsible. I'm gonna cover my ass.
You're not dragging anything.
I'm wheeling.
But look, yeah. Little scritches right here, right in front of Vern. Oh, come on.
It's burn, snitching is right in front of
You too, there's a little one. That's sweet, come on. All right, we're ready. I know it's only 6:28.
I'll check that thing.
Did that up at my neighbor's house. They had left one to sell in a Ukrainian house. Oh, it is? Well. We were waiting for somebody at a party or something. Poor Olga, she did. Bless her heart. They're really nice. Yeah, I know, right? She told me, because at the last.
Yeah.
meeting,
Which
I
it was
handed
a
out the
projected
cost
cost comparison. You received the quote
Right,
and you estimated what
right.
whoever it was, Blue Cross. So
Yeah.
that's on me. So,
Yeah.
that's great. Fantastic.
There's nobody signed up.
Okay. Super duper. Have 30 seconds.
I approved tonight.
It started there.
Mayor, is that your Christmas flannel?
Pardon?
Is that your Christmas flannel?
It's not flannel, it's just a shirt. Yeah, it's just a tartan of sorts.
Matt technically let him know that he could make it today. He's got meeting for work.
Okay, cool.
Heard from Savannah.
All right. It is 6:30. I'd like to call this meeting of the City Council of the City of Morrison to order. Sorry, get my agenda in front of me. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Bruckner,
Here.
Cruz,
Here.
Mahaffey, Schlegel,
Here.
Travelt,
Here.
Tickler, West.
Here.
Zeidema.
Here.
Stand and recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As far as we can tell, nobody signed up for public comment. Officers, department heads, let's start with Chief.
A couple things, Mayor. Officer Chad Hermes has resigned effective the 12th. He accepted the position of Fulton Police for the chief of police job. So we wish Chad the best as he addresses some challenges ahead. 4 of us are gonna do some training in Erie, including SRO for rapid deployment, school rapid deployment, and some tactical emergency care. That would be Monday. We're gonna do that. Our squad car arrived. A little bit of an issue with the radio, but that's not a major break anything. And Officer Drew Mesville celebrated his 1-year anniversary on the
Right.
3rd of January and successfully completed his probationary period. So congrats to Drew, and he is a true athlete.
Glad to hear that. Thank you. Nathan?
Last Thursday, we had bingo in here, and we had 25 people in there, so it was a big crowd. Wrestling is kicked off. We have 37 kids, 2 are girls, the rest are boys. Basketball, we have 64, that started Saturday. And volleyball has been opened, and we have 15 so far signed up for volleyball, and that starts on February 25th, so that could end up being a big.
Impressive.
15 already.
Nice to know.
Mayor, can I ask one question?
Please, please.
Nathan, I just noticed that, some some guys were scoping out frisbee golf spots and waterworks. Is that going into waterworks too,
They showed me a plan
or? Uh-huh,
of an 18-hole disc golf course that they would like to put in
okay,
Waterworks Park, but
Okay.
obviously first asking you guys to approve it, but they want to try to get a plan together and stuff like that. Bring it to.
Nice. Thank you. Treasurer, we have a report tonight. Do you have anything else to add? All right, thank you. For the consent agenda, the mayor would note two very small typos on the minutes. First sentence should read December 9, not November 25. And then 2/3 down the page under consent agenda on the first page, right after nays, it should say none. If there's two ways to do this, somebody could remove that from consent, or somebody could say approve the consent agenda with those two amendments noted, but I also note there are 4 other items on the consent agenda, so would any alderperson wish to remove an item from the consent agenda?
I'm gonna pull 2 bills payable.
Okay, bills payable has been removed. Then I would ask to 1, 3, 4, and 5 with the 2 notes that I just mentioned to be moved. Otherwise, we could pull the minutes and address them separately.
So moved.
Okay, so the motion is 1, 3, 4, and 5 with the 2 notes that the mayor suggested. Is the motion from Alderperson West? Is there a second?
Second.
It's on the table for any further discussion. All right. Hearing none, and since the money has been removed, we can do this by voice vote. All those in favor? Is there any opposed? None. It's approved. Bills payable. Alderman Zaida, would you like a comment?
I don't know where to start. It looks like a mess to me. The first thing is 73,275 and odd cents. I don't see where those bills are.
Could you refer to a page?
Okay, page 4. I'm starting with.
Thank you.
These, if I can explain, and thank you, Alderman Zeideman, for calling me earlier today on this. This is perhaps always the way account or bills payable have been reported to the council. So you have, technically you have 2 lists, and if we have to reword it, we can, but you have a bills payable list of 73,000, et cetera. But then you also have prepaid or outstanding checks in the amount of $336,000 something, and then $98. That brings the total at the end of the vendors list, which is the last portion of the bills payable packet. So, and it's consistent with both of these bills payable packets. And I did some spot checking on some previous bills payable. It's just how it's reported on this cover sheet. And if we need to, we can change that wording so it's a little clearer.
Okay, then getting back to page 19, it says 409,405. That's it.
Right? So if you take that 409, let me get to it. So the claims by vendors is all of the accounts payable and the outstanding checks. So the 409, 405.91 should be the outstanding checks plus the accounts payable check register of 73. And there's one more check, 9872. So if you took 9872, 336,075.87, and then the check, the accounts payable check register of 73,275.32, that should bring the total to equal, which it does, to, the last page, the claims by vendor. But for future meetings, the memo cover page will be a little more clear about that. That basically summarize those expenses.
So actually, we're paying on that first part of this bill. $409,405, right?
Those, the outstanding checks are already approved expenses, but because they haven't cleared our software program, they're still out in the accounting world as basically an unpaid balance.
We've written those checks. They
We've
haven't
written
been
those
cashed.
checks, the outstanding checks, we've written the checks because you've approved them in prior meetings. It's just they haven't cleared our bank in a sense. So they remain outstanding along with the current list of bills.
Okay, so you give us all the bills. On page 15. 16, 17. And 18, is that what we're approving?
You were approving, well, that's a summary. The 15 through 19 is the claims by vendor of the bills to be paid and approved tonight, plus the outstanding checks. Technically, what you're approving is the first part of that, which is the accounts payable, which is the $73, etc., because those are the bills that have not been approved yet by the council. The outstanding checks have. But because they're still outstanding, they show up in the master list of claims by the vendors. Because they haven't cleared yet. And as far back as I could check, it's been that way. This council's been that way. It's never been questioned that I can recall.
And you do see that. At least from pages 15 to 19, there's a payment amount and a check number and a date the check was written. So those are just outstanding.
But again, we will clarify that in the cover sheet memo in the future, so it's not so confusing.
Well, and then you have the same thing. You have. Bills payable 88,238 odd cents.
Correct.
Back here, when you show us all the bills, 92,316 odd cents.
Because there's approximately a little over $4,000 in outstanding checks on that one, which are outlined on pages. The outstanding checks are on page 23 and 25 of about 350, a little over $4,000. So if you took that $4,000 plus what's on the memo cover sheet of the bills that you're approving tonight, that would bring you to, again, the sum figure on the last page of the checks by vendor.
So what are the things on page 27 and 28? 29? This whole thing has gotten to be real confusing. We don't have any idea what we're paying for.
How long you been on the council?
All right,
Alderman Zaidala?
let's-
We've been reporting this way for years, and now it's
Usually comes out.
Okay,
What you put on that page and what you're paying usually comes out.
there are. The one thing to pay attention to as well, since we didn't have a second meeting in December, there's 2 months worth of outstandings, so. The first one, like we said, goes up to page 19, ends in the 409. Most of that are checks that are written and just haven't been cashed. It's just the 73. And then the second part of that goes up to page 30. And again, it's $92,000 worth of checks that have written, and then bills payable in the amount of 88. And this presentation, yeah, is the same. I think the issue is there are 2 months this time. And it is a lot of pages. And unfortunately, a lot of uncashed checks because it was December. We wrote a lot of checks and people don't cash checks.
And because we have 2 sets of bills payable on here because of the second meeting in December
Right,
that we
yeah.
usually,
We don't have.
we don't have that would have otherwise been approved then. So that's why you see 2 sets with different figures. But once again, I will make that memo summary sheet a little simpler.
I would think that when you list all the bills here, that's what we're approving. And that's the way it should be.
Right, so you're requested to approve the bills in the amount of $73,000, some change, and
88 and some change.
88 and some change.
But that's not what's in this, what you're showing us, because we have bills that are over $100,000.
That are outstanding checks
Very frequent.
that you've approved at previous meetings.
Well, then why are they in there if we've already?
They haven't
approved
cashed a check yet.
Because, yeah, they haven't cleared.
Yeah,
them?
point taken that this could be cleaned up with fewer pages.
If we approve it once, it shouldn't come up again.
Point taken. Is there a motion to approve bills payable for end of December in the amount of 73,275.32 and mid-January in the amount of 88,238.78?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Appreciate the discussion, council. Hearing none, this has money. We need a roll call vote.
Bruckner,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Schlegel,
Yes.
Travell,
Yes.
Tickler, oh, sorry, West,
Yes.
Zeidema,
Yeah,
motion carries.
Thank you very much. Again, back to Historic Preservation Commission minutes. Items 2 and 3 for action. The Blue Violet had 2 submissions for painting and window replacement. Those minutes and the submitted invoices and costs are on, starting your page 34. I think in the interest of time, a motion to approve 2 and 3 together would be appropriate. If not, you may wish to move one at a time.
I have a question. Way back when I first sat on the council in this committee, approving one bill for this historic was standard procedure. Now we're getting in the habit of submitting 2 bills for the same project. In other words, same argument that I had before. One bill here. I don't know, it just seems again, we're paying more than we should. Per the original agreement with historic. That way it was set up.
This is a slippery slope we've been talking
Yeah.
about, right? But,
Yeah.
so did this, and because I've lost track, we've talked about this give up so often. So did this go through the normal procedure, or is this kind of still okay, well, the council's been approving these, I'm gonna put mine in now to get mine approved, which I get, I get somebody doing that. Is that what this one is, or I couldn't quite tell from the minutes, or did this go through standard operating
Well,
procedure?
they're all done basically here lately, they've been done and then.
There's
they
no
submit.
difference.
Right.
There's no difference?
Yeah.
There's no because there's no pre-approval?
No,
Is there normally a pre-approval?
supposed to be pre-approved before the work's even done.
And I know we're probably past that,
With an estimate or.
but this is one of those that's past that, right?
The reason why these come before the council is because they're above what was budgeted each year. This council by ordinance has given the Historic Preservation Commission the authority to manage this program. And in that language, it says up to what is budgeted by the city council. For the last several years, this council has budgeted $5,000 a year because there wasn't a lot of interest. The last year or two, there has been significant interest. But the budget didn't change because we didn't know the interest was predictable. We didn't predict the interest, so we didn't change what was budgeted. So once we had spent that $5,000, once the Historic Preservation has spent the $5,000 that they were approved and given authority to, anything beyond that has to come before this council at your discretion to approve or not. And that's what this is.
So anytime in the past that we've approved these, has always been above and beyond the 5,000, because I recall like.
No, it
No.
was,
Yeah.
it was held under 5,000. Or
Did that
any
change?
money left up to 5,000 was paid. Thomasina was the last party to receive it that way.
Okay,
He was
yeah, it
given
was a change.
money. What was ever left in the budget, or whatever it was left.
Mayor or Brian, do you know what this brings us up to for this year?
Oh, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
get
that's
that for you,
okay.
but I
figured
$5,000.
Probably 15 or.
I mean, I can see it changing every year though. I mean,
It
winter could be heavy.
didn't change. We set it at
Not
$5,000.
the people requesting money, interest,
Mhm.
you know, if we had a couple new businesses in town, start up, you know, things like that next year, might be zero.
Oh, it's gonna be
It's gonna,
50 to 100,000 because this is going out to the realtors. And they're gonna promote this and,
yeah, this is only for downtown.
huh?
This is only for Main Street.
No, it's for any house that's
In the
on the
historical-
historical
Yeah,
district.
yeah, we used to approve like a fence on Lincoln Way,
Yeah.
or we didn't approve that one actually, but.
Please keep in mind, this is a good problem. And
I
people are, improving their properties, and if there's an incentive that we can afford to provide.
Yeah.
I think it's a good choice for our community. Maybe in the future, we should, as I've been thinking about for the next budget year, is to establish a separate restricted fund that we can think about how we, earmark revenue towards it and put in that fund, so if we have a year we don't use it, it's still there. Cause right now,
Yeah.
it's within our general fund, so if
It
it's
goes
not
and then it,
used,
yeah.
it's just absorbed into our general fund balance. And that's what we're paying these out of right now, is our general fund balance. So maybe in the future, we can approach the financing of this a little differently. So there is money there, for these kind of projects, because this is good for our community.
I think in their minutes, the Preservation Society was talking about a building that is been so neglected that it's starting to deteriorate. Well, personally, what I think is that this is going to be something that's gaining steam because it's a good thing. But I kind of feel like it should be done properly, where if there's more need for it, then the budget should be increased. And then you should just stick to the budget, whatever the city can afford to do this.
And reevaluate every year.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think next year, I mean, I think, like what Brian said, I agree. I mean, I think we kind of need to, I think we should increase. And I think we should just own that amount for that year
I think so.
and then
Maybe-
take it from there.
Maybe we could somehow say, okay, we'll approve this one and then that's gonna be it until our next budget.
I don't think we can do that now. They have control and they've set it up this way and this is what they want. We have no control over it anymore.
Well, we
That's
do.
right.
Well, no, you do, you have complete control over anything above what was budgeted per the ordinance. So anything above the 5,000 that we've already spent is the complete authority and discretion of you, this city council.
Council, yeah.
But we've already set a precedent. We've been giving 50% and it says up to $10,000.
Well, the $10,000 is their new, what they've kind of
Rule with
policed,
them.
they're policing themselves with. by their own, guidelines for the commission.
But they have control. We give them control.
Well, they approve the program and those who participate. But once again, if they spend their money, then the authority becomes yours.
Yeah, you're saying, Brian, they have control up to 5,000.
Yes, they have control up to what's budgeted each year.
Would say they're still abusing the rule because it
Yeah.
must be submitted before the work's done, like the painting of this building. Bought $5,400, that painting was done in June, and they didn't submit it until December, so. That bill should not be included.
But we've allowed others to do that at this point. I mean, this is,
That's why, what are we here for? To break the rules, I guess.
well, I just feel like we've set a precedent. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, at some point, we probably need to. I don't know when you say
Wasted
no, I
effort.
don't know.
I just don't think that we should just go deeper down or farther down the slippery slope. We should say, oh, I think maybe we should stop here and try to get back on solid ground again, like next year. But I would think as long as this has gone this far, we can say, okay, this far, but that's it for now. Then we're gonna straighten it out and get it right.
I agree with Brett. You're saying approve this, but
Yes.
then say
Yes,
but we need to get our system straight. for those.
just have a sense of the council. That if somebody else comes and they did work already and then they say, well, give us half of what we spent, and we're gonna say, not this year.
When does it start again, Ryan, in June?
May 1.
Or May 1st, new budget year? Well, I think we're pretty safe to say what Greg's saying now at this point.
Which is a great point. Would there be a motion to approve items 2 and 3 together? With the understanding that with the next fiscal year. We inform the HPC. We expect estimates in advance. And continue that. When they're done with their budget, they do have to come back to council.
So
All right,
What do we approve?
we're approving these
two.
two.
we're approving,
those-
the motion is for items 2 and 3 to approve. Comment from city council back to HPC. We expect estimates in advance of work done before approval in the future. And starting the next fiscal year, when they're done with their budget, they are going to have to come to council as they always have to do.
You can't do that. That's not on the agenda. The only thing you can prove is these two figures.
Okay,
You can't approve anything else.
and I didn't say we were gonna approve anything. I said it's a sensitive.
If you wanna change it, that has to come to the council, has to be on the
Yes,
agenda.
that's right. But if we have a sense of the council that gives the leaders a guidance like we have done before many times, saying when they go to the Preservation Society and they want to talk about it, well, we're going to tell them, we're going to approve this, and then we're going to wait until the next fiscal year, and then we could possibly raise the budget on that and negotiate with them about that. I don't see anything wrong with that at all.
This is weird because.
Okay, here's the deal. What's appropriate now then, Alderman Cruz, is for you to substitute a motion to approve items 2 and 3 as listed on the agenda. And if the seconder, Alderman Bruckner, agrees, we'll move forward.
Okay, so move then.
So move.
All right. Items 2 and 3 as listed on the agenda have been moved and seconded, and they're on the floor for further discussion. Hearing none, clerk, would you call the roll?
Bruckner,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yeah.
Schlegel,
Yes.
Travell,
Yes.
West,
Yes,
Zeidema,
No. Still don't know what the motion was.
It was to approve those two things, to pay that.
Okay. Nothing else.
nothing else,
Okay.
but they know what the council is saying.
I don't think they do.
All right, we're in the room. Please do not refer to us in the third person.
I'm sorry, Harvey, is that an A or an A?
It's a no.
This thing is so confusing, it's an A.
Okay. Motion still carries.
It should have been listed as just those two things, nothing else.
It was.
It is, that's what it was, and the motion was,
That's not what he said.
No, it is.
yes, the motion, okay, we're done. The vote is done. Item 5. Excuse me, item 4. Ordinance 25-01, starting on your page 41. To join the Intergovernmental Personnel Benefit Cooperative. This has been exposed,
Yes.
and we also have a representative. Mr. David Cook.
Is that mic on over there, Dave?
It's not turned on. You just have to
Push and hold.
Green?
Yep.
Yep, green lights on.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dave Cook. I'm the executive director of the IPBC. Just to give you a real quick background on myself. I spent a little over 31 years in local government, the last 23 at the village of Hinsdale, the last 8 as the village manager. Took an early retirement and at the time in 2013 became the first executive director of the IPBC. It was a nice 20-hour job. We had 68 members and fast forward to 11 years. Now we have 172 members across the state and I'm working more than I probably did when I retired from the village of Hinsdale. Is there a clicker or?
No, just,
He's your clicker.
just, I'm your clicker.
Snap your fingers.
I know, Brian has given you some background previously on the IPBC, but I just think, give you a little quick overview and be able to answer any questions you may have. IPBC, Intergovernmental Personal Benefit Cooperative, has been around since 1979. We are an intergovernmental agency created through state statutes. All of our powers, if you look at the Illinois Intergovernmental Cooperation Act, everything that we can do comes straight from state statutes. What does that make a difference? It makes a huge difference. You're not buying from the commercial market, you're not, basically the members rule the organization. I can make any kind of recommendation just like Brian can, but every member has a vote at the table and makes the determination. We currently, by the state statutes, are open to any unit of local government. The vast majority of our membership is municipalities. We have about 9 counties now. We have a lot of special districts, library districts, park districts. Like we're the king of the 911 centers. We have a lot of intergovernmental agencies. Uniqueness is what we're all about. The members, like I said, they own the cooperative. They make the decisions. We have a very strong leadership program. We have an executive board of 15 members that does the day-to-day. The board of directors is all 172 members. We have advisory committees, our finance committee, our operations committee, membership development committee, all have 15 members. So we have over 60 members actively managing the day-to-day, plus the board of directors when we meet. What's the IPBC advantage? And I'm gonna pin with that top financial stability and predictability. If there was not that, there would not be an IPBC period. And we'll talk about that in a little bit in a moment. But there's a lot of things a government your size is going to see that you don't get today. A lot of the first two are access to data. We treat every member exactly the same, whether it's the smallest member that is the city of Trenton, instead of only at 10 members, or Lake County, which is almost 3,000 members. They get the same treatment. They get monthly reports. They see their claim data. We believe in full disclosure, full transparency, which means that because we are a pool, we share risk. You'll be able to see the plan designs, the loss history of every member of the pool, because we allocate and share risk. It's very important. Flexibility. We're going to be able to give you a choice with United Healthcare, 7 different plans that you can choose from. I don't think there's been a final determination yet on exactly which plan, but that's the next step. The benefits of purchasing power. When we go out to bid, we're bidding for almost 23,000 employees across the state of Illinois. If you look at the quote, like our life insurance rates are 7 cents per thousand. A group your size in the commercial market is around 25 cents. Those are the benefits of purchasing. I tell people it's not a lot of difference. Then where do you buy your rucksack? From the state bid because of volume buying. Health insurance is a lot of the same things. The other thing that we do, I am the actual worker for every one of our programs. We obviously have an admin fee involved in to pay for the cost of the operation, but all the programs or the commissions are stripped out. There are no commissions added into the vision program, the dental program, the life program, all the other programs. They're provided to a membership at the cost that we pay. Our staff and service team, all we do, we have about 17 staff members. All we do is local government every day, nothing else. We know the ins and outs of local government. We can talk with FEMA, with our police departments. We understand all the continuation rates for retirees, all the nuances of Illinois state statute. We know, we do it every day. And then one of the nice things at the end of the year, and I've been involved with the IPBC since 1990, because Hinsdale was a member when I came, and they actually have been a member since 1984. In that time, there's been 1 year there wasn't a dividend declared that gives money back to the members at the end of the year. But it's a simple math, whatever our premiums are, what we pay out, what's left at the end of the year goes back to our members. Yeah, go to the next slide. Yeah. This is just a real high level, but how we allocate claims. And as a small member, we actually protect you, even more so. If you were a larger member, the first 50,000 claims would be the responsibility of that entity. But small members, we understand that there's, a lot of risk aversion. In Tier 1, which is members under 50 lives, we have about 1,400 lives in the pool. They share that first layer of risk. After that first layer, it becomes a pool. The entire pool members take those claims from 50,000 to 1.5 million. What that does, it takes the peaks and valleys out of those risks. We make those catastrophic claims a fixed cost across the pool. And then over 1.5 million, we do by commercial stop loss. Another area, because we have almost $220 million in the bank, we self-finance that. And if you know anything about health insurance and stop loss, for every dollar you buy, you're paying about $1.30. Another place we save members a lot of money. It's going to go on. The IPBC is very predictable. We've been around for so long in our size. We know what we're doing. It's just that I'm not a salesman. I've lived this. I loved it what I'm doing. And it's pure experience that, we have I've been covered by IPBC for too many years now. But I'm getting up there, but it works and it models. And then we put some safeguards in place. I'm going to be honest with you, health the last year, and it's just not us, trend is increasing. There's a lot of things, especially on the PBM world with the weight loss drugs, the GLP-1s are really increasing the cost of medicine. Much more than most people thought 2 years ago. But still, if for some reason you have a bad year, we put bookends on it. So the IPBC average is 3%. The best any member can get is a -2. The worst they can get is a +8. Those are just some things we do to make sure no one has a terrific, horrible year. Next slide, please. The next couple slides are probably the most important ones. If you understand trend, what the name of the game is reducing your trend and keeping your trend low. As you can see, the top line blue there, that is the market trend since 2010. The green line has been the IPBC average renewal. If you took those two numbers And what you're, it's like $100 and compounded versus, there's a huge difference, and I'll show you that in a minute, but every year IPVC has been able to beat, the market trend. We do have an HMO product, probably not, real available out here in this far, so we're gonna skip this slide. But like I mentioned, dividends, on the PPO over the last 5 years, we've given back an average of 1.8% of premiums. And go back to slide, I forgot. Our 5 year, one more, yeah,
One more?
yeah, the 5 year average, our trend, 3.7%. In giving back 1.8% of dividends every year. I'm hopeful those numbers will be fairly comparable in the future, but I'm telling you, I'm seeing that the trend across the board is increasing. Blue Cross Blue Shield just told me that their average increases for January 1 for large municipalities was around 9%, small communities around 12 to 13. That's what you're seeing in the commercial market. Next slide, really is. And this is the one I think, I call the money slide, because this is what it's all about, in reducing your trend. If you have a trend of 6% and you can reduce that to 3% over 5 years, those numbers become large, big. And that's what the game's all about. You can see here, you know, this is based on a group of 100, you're about 25 lives, so you can probably take this and divide it by 4 and be fairly accurate. But over 5 years, if you can reduce your trend by 3%, you can just see it's about 1.4 million. So, you know, for you, about $350,000 over 5 years of actual savings, if that trend continues. Like I mentioned, our auxiliary, the only 2 programs that are required by IPVC are medical and life insurance, but because of how we price the dental, the vision, the life insurance, and most of all our members take the auxiliary program if they offer them. One thing too, included in our premium, no additional cost, is an EAP program. There is the choice of 4 different programs, including a first responder EAP program that's dedicated to public safety enforcement. And also a wellness program where they can have health assessments for their employees, and we'll reimburse it up to $135. And there's a possibility to get between $100 to $400 back per eligible participant based on your participation. We strongly believe in wellness, and I can tell you personally that those communities that have strong wellness programs have lower rates than a lot of our other members do who don't have the wellness programs in place. Our benefit options, those are our current providers. Due to your, Blue Cross has some unique cooperative rules, and due to your size, initially you cannot go into use Blue Cross, but after 2 years, if you decide you wanted to move to Blue Cross, you have that ability. UHC is a great organization. We have a lot of our members with them. A lot of the members in the area have Blue Cross. There's a lot of, I didn't mention some of the members, but you know, some of your neighbors, Rochelle, Dixon, Rock Falls, Lee County, East Moline, Freeport, Princeton, for a lot of members in the western part of Illinois now. But that's all our current providers. You can see they're all the top-notch providers. And one of the things we do, we make a commitment. We are a local government. We believe in fiduciary responsibility. We have a policy that every one of our vendors, except for our medical providers, which we do, but we do an RFP every 5 years to make sure we're getting the best service and the best price. We make sure that we do our fiduciary responsibility. Just some of the additional programs we've talked about. I'll just go on real quick. No, next slide, Brian. Like I mentioned, these are all the voluntary programs. We can provide everything to the member if they want it. Your FSAs, HSAs, HRAs, all the different things, and there's a lot of voluntary programs for the employees that they can get additional life insurance, child life, dependent life at very, very competitive rates, all through our process. And our, sort of our service partners, I'm not gonna go through these all, but we pride ourselves, like I said, that our service partners are some of the best in the state of Illinois. We work with them, and there again, like I said, every 5 years, they too are RFP to make sure we're getting the best service and the best price. And I will just really quickly mention our service providers, like I mentioned, all of our staff do nothing but local government service. Angie Moscato, one of our senior benefit consultants, would be assigned to the case. She also has Dixon and Rochelle, and Rock Falls. She sort of handles the western part of the state. She's a very good. If you adopt the ordinance tonight, I'll be having her get a hold of Brian and start setting the meetings to begin the process of implementation. With that, I think the next slide is our beautiful pictures of my staff, and with that, I'll be glad to answer and take any questions you may have.
Well, I think our dentist is out of, what do they call that?
Our network.
Out of network. For Delta Dental. I have Delta Dental and they charge me way more because
We have a special arrangement with Delta Dental. We can write the policy to cover at the same level as in network. We can do that.
And we already have, the city, through our other broker, already has VSP for vision and Delta for dental.
I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, like VSP, we have 13 different plans to choose from, so. A lot of times, the cost of the program is less, and a lot of times they'll enhance the benefits at a low cost.
All right.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks for coming. Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2501, authorizing the acceptance of the contract of the Intergovernmental Personnel Benefit Cooperative?
So me.
Bruckner moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Schlegel. It's on the table for any further discussions. Further questions would be appropriate at this time, in my opinion, of Mr. Cook.
Sedona had some.
I'd just like to point out that, at the last meeting, I did, provide you with the cost comparison with what, Mr. Cook quoted us for the, United Healthcare Plan, the $250 deductible Choice Plus plan, in comparison to what we now have and the trend. Like Dave said, predictability and stability are what I'm striving for when it comes to the fiscal management of the city, and going this route rather than having our own PPO, which is going out and getting our own bids and so forth, and then having the deductible reimbursement can be unpredictable and unstable. So, and over time, I show you through 2028, and by then we're already saving perhaps up to $30,000 to $40,000 just in the next couple of years. If we had a worst case scenario with the cooperative and following the trend of private contracts. So long story short, no brainer.
While there are no dollar amounts in the ordinance, it does have financial implications. I think a roll call vote is in order. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Bruckner,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Schlegel,
Yes.
Travell,
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Zeidema,
Yes.
motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Welcome to the 173rd member of the IPPC.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna have back issues.
Yeah. have a safe drive.
Thank you.
Take care. All right, starting on our page 44. Item 5 for action, change order number 4. Fisher Excavating on the 78 water main and other loops projects, increase of almost $15,000. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Comments? If not, clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Bruckner,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Schlegel,
Yes.
Travell,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Zeidema,
Yes.
motion carries.
Having approved the change order, the final payment request. Item 6, starting on page 52. On the Route 78 water main and other loops from Fisher in the amount of 115,000 plus, almost 116,000. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Are there any questions or comments on this? This is a final payment request, puts it behind us. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Bruckner,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Schlegel,
Yes.
Travell,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Zeidema,
Yes.
motion carried.
Item 7, Public Works Buildings interior renovation has been exposed to the council, the plans and the ideas. The bids were received. You have a letter that outlines the differences in the bids and a review of those differences, starting on your page 55. Is there a motion to approve the award to Daxon?
So moved.
Second.
It's on the table for further discussions or questions. I think the documentation was pretty clear. It was researched by our helpers, our consultants.
I appreciated that because it was a little concerning how drastic the
The
difference.
differences were, yes. Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, clerk, would you please call the roll?
Bruckner,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Schlegel,
Yes.
Travell,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Zeidema,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay. All right, hydrant and catch basin project, Porter Brothers, change order number 2. That the attachment to your letter,
Yes.
starting on City Administrator Melton's letter. I guess I would call that his page 4, but
I sent it out with
with your narrative.
with my monthly report, or meeting report.
Is there a motion to approve that change order?
So moved.
Is there okay, there's a second, Bruckner. It's on the table for discussion and questions. Pardon?
That's the amount of change.
Okay, the amount of the change order is $13,253.62. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Bruckner,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Schlegel,
Yes.
Travell,
Yes.
West.
Yeah.
Zeidema,
Yes.
motion carried.
The change order having been approved, the final payment request, including that, is also attached. And the final payment amount is $17,000, $380.69, including that change order, and that closes out the hydrant and catch basin project. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
It's on the table for further discussion or questions. Again, final payment closes the project. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Bruckner,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Schlegel,
Yes.
Travell,
West,
Yes.
Zeidema,
Yeah,
motion carried.
In the packet, page 58. First payment request on the alley work from Porter Brothers in the amount of $94,322.68. Is there a motion to approve? It's been moved and seconded. Are there questions or comments on this first request for payment?
Where do we stand with it? I've probably had a dozen people by phone call, by letter, or direct contact. So how much do we owe yet? Are they correcting the situation?
Well, the total quote was for $98,620.68, which includes 2 inches of gravel graded and compacted on top of pulverizing. They have done all the pulverizing and prep work, and will be spreading and grading and packing the gravel, they tell me, yet this week.
Somebody told me last week that city employees are putting rock in, is that true?
They may have put some in one section because a garbage truck went up there when it was really soft. And so we had to grade and fix that, but Porter Brothers will be coming back through and putting a fresh layer of gravel on it, because when you pulverize like that, you're gonna get some soil mix in and made it a little, when it's wet, makes it a little muddy. So,
Those things are heavy.
yeah. We should keep them off our alleys.
How are they gonna do all that for $2,000? I don't get this.
You said
Gravel must be cheap.
$4,000, but I don't know.
We do have a contract for,
We do,
okay, that's all that counts.
we do.
They're just getting a little money ahead.
Probably.
But that's good information because there's a lot of questioning about it, and I think false reporting about ruts that are that deep when they only took 6 inches off the alley in the first place, so I don't
Yeah, I don't,
see that.
yeah,
But, you know, the explanation is that they are not finished.
Correct.
They never rolled those.
and
Well, they did roll.
they did pack
Yes, they did roll.
after they graded and packed the pulverizing, but now they're gonna come back through with gravel and grade it and pack it on top of it.
Well, that one up there by me is this beautiful job they did on that. It's nice and hard. There's
I think they did a great job on
Glad to hear that.
most, if not all of them, and despite a few questions, I only had one real person complain to me anyway. But you know how that goes.
He's got a copy.
But we've had a lot of compliments and people happy that it was done, so.
Your biggest picture half block away, he's not happy.
He isn't?
No.
Oh,
Well, we
my
can't
God.
make everybody happy.
We were gonna name this project after him.
Yeah, you try to do something good for people and what do?
We have a motion and a second on the table. Any further questions? If not, clerk, would you call the roll?
Bruckner,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yeah.
Schlegel,
Yes.
Travell,
Yes.
West.
Yes.
And Zeidema.
Motion
How do I
carries.
report a wine?
No, it's okay. All right, for discussion, the grants. City Administrator.
Yes, as I reported happily at the last meeting, which was way back in December, late last year, we received legislative grant funding in the amount of $100,000 to use for general infrastructure improvements. I then brought up the idea of pursuing a project to construct a new pickleball court. And again, I planted that seed at the last meeting, and hopefully everybody's had some time to think about it. And I just want to make sure consensus wise, if that's what the council would like me to move forward with, because once again, we still have to do, they gave us the money, but now we have to backtrack and do all the paperwork for it. So, before I get too deep into that, I just kind of want to make sure we were on track. If there's some other idea you'd like to use, then we can, address this in a different manner and put it on the agenda for next time, but, I thought we would, at least my opinion to the council is to do something positive and recreational for our community. Yeah, we can put the $100,000 towards alleys, roads, whatever you want infrastructure wise, but I think the impact to our community would be much better and more positive if we did something like this. So there's a need out there, there's groups out there that are asking for it. I can't, maybe some people in this room could tell me the last time those tennis ball courts were done, they're probably as old as some of us here. So but yeah, I would really like to see the council move forward with using that 100,000 towards a pickleball court.
Right,
Or courts.
right, and that doesn't destroy the winter park, the winter park remains then?
Well, since the last, since the December meeting, I've gotten into it a little deeper with the course and stuff. And we might be better off to leave that court alone for the winter park. Because we don't want to drive stakes into a nice new pickleball court to put an ice rink on it. And since the last meeting, I've talked to the ice rink people and there's not really a really good alternative. Other than staking in the rink boundary. So I would still like to put it at Waterworks Park because I hope to have this next summer, the city crew to do a lot of work down there, improving that park. But I would like, there's a nice excavated level park right where the old sewer plant used to be, out in the sun.
Open a new court over there.
And just put
Have a
new court,
standalone court, yeah.
do a new standalone court, well, 4 courts actually, for the size we could potentially do here, we could do 4 courts.
For that amount of money?
For that amount of money.
Wow.
Well, pickleball courts themselves aren't very big.
They're small.
I always envisioned that's where the pool would go.
4 courts are about 2 tennis courts.
Yeah, yeah, but
After.
Like
the
Rich said.
complex is paid off.
4 courts or 2 tennis courts, it's about the size of our current courts up at Kelly Park and the waterworks.
Plus, they're burning on the tennis courts now. They were burning logs the other day.
Well, I mean, they have a pit.
Well,
I mean, they're
surface-
not burning it on the surface. They have a
No,
pit.
sparks. I was up there.
It was a great weekend for the winter park. I'll say that.
Good, good.
So,
It's vacant and I can find.
so unless somebody has another idea, I'm not gonna say better, but another idea is a consensus to move forward with that project. Ultimately, you'll approve the grant award,
I
but
like the idea.
Okay.
I'm against it, but I can't tell you what I think you would better spend 100,000.
Should we do
Anything
another
else
dog
that
park?
you'd wanna do would be a lot more than that.
yeah,
Excuse me.
you can't do a lot with 100,000 anymore, believe it or not.
I just have a little flaw in my throat, that it's called, infrastructure. It's not really
It's
infrastructure.
park community infrastructure, yeah. I asked them and they were excited about it, said, oh, yes, definitely.
People are gonna be talking for a long time.
It's
What they do with the infrastructure money, they build a pickleball court. Nobody even plays pickleball anymore.
It's the fastest growing sport in the United States.
They're,
What about when all the old people die off though? Are those younger ones gonna keep
yeah,
playing?
my 20-year-old son
When
loves
we get as
pickleball.
old as Bay, the pickleball.
All right. I would suggest that you go ahead with
Yeah,
the
go
path.
ahead with it.
Thank you.
So, yeah, we're at a point where we don't want to start something and go backwards, so
Thank you.
we cross that. The hospital,
Yes, another brief update. They're waiting, the hospital is waiting for ComEd to move some utilities so they can actually start on their construction project. It's a tight fit. They don't have a lot of room to work and stage their equipment, their supplies, etc. So they have asked if we would consider approving a road closure during the duration. I suggested just completely closing it during the duration of the entire project, because at first they came at me and said, can we just close it when we need to? And the inconsistency with that and the neighbors that would use that area, it would just be more difficult not to close it. If I said that correctly.
Just for staging equipment or?
Well, they're gonna be, most of their equipment is gonna be across the street. Yeah, but when they are moving I-beams and stuff, they will have a crane. And they wanna put that as close as they can, so they might put that in the parkway along the sidewalk. But because of traffic, the way people tried to go around our barricades on the Route 78 project, I encourage them to put, should the council approve it, the agreement for the road closure, I encourage them to put cranes and stuff on that road so people aren't trying to dodge the barricades. But we will make an effort to notify each one of those residents that live in that short block between Oakland and North Jackson. And of course, the hospital will be responsible for any and all restoration, traffic control, barricades, everything to the street and the sidewalk once they're done.
How long is the project?
They hope to start by March 1st and be done by the end of the year, this summer.
Back when that first came up, they asked for a road closure there.
Permanent.
And it sounded to me like it was a permanent one. And I
Yes,
said, "Oh,
that's
I
what they
did
wanted.
not."
That's what they wanted.
But now, yeah, but now if we're going to approve this, that they close it now, and then for the duration.
Only temporary.
Well-
They completely 100% understand that they are not
Okay,
getting a
all right.
permanent road
Well,
closure.
then I'm in favor of it. There's nothing you can do about it. They need that to build that. But after it's over, when it's done, I'd like to see that Knox Street back open again.
It will be, because hopefully by the next meeting, you will have an agreement with all that spelled out in it. And they were very, very happy with that. So,
All right. Item in the news, the 1% grocery sales tax went away. Or that goes away January 1, 2026, is that correct?
correct.
Okay. Non-home rule communities are allowed to implement a grocery tax in the amount of 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, or 1.0% to recognize the loss of that revenue. As City Administrator Melton has pointed out several times, it's really hard for us to say how much the city actually gets from the state 1% tax on your groceries. So model legislation has been laid out, which we have, City Administrator Melton has printed out here for you, which makes it really easy for a community such as ours to implement a grocery tax when the state tax goes away. And the point is really on page 61, it's highlighted. Could be 25, 0.5, 0.75, or 1%, but that would be directly to the city. This is for consideration right now, not consideration for action, but consideration and discussion. We really don't know how much revenue we're gonna lose. What did you have you threw out a
Yeah.
couple of ballparks there?
Yeah, in my discussions with the Illinois Department of Revenue, they said it's almost impossible to specifically state because of all the exceptions in sales tax on what is tax and what isn't, even at a grocery store. But what I've been able to learn in through that process and what we have in town and looking through the revenue we do receive in sales tax throughout town, I estimate it between, according to the revenue we get annually now, we would lose $80,000 to $100,000 in revenue annually. That's about 1% of that grocery tax. So, and we're receiving about somewhere between $500,000 and $600,000 a year in total sales tax. So that's, if you do the math, that's almost about 20% of our sales tax revenue we would lose if we do not approve this ordinance at 1%. We're not increasing a tax. We're basically maintaining what we have since our governor abolished it and put it back on the municipalities. So,
Yeah, I think we need it. We need the
Have we
1%.
gone a year with it off?
no, it doesn't end till January 26th. So we have another year of it yet. But we have to file, if we're going to do this, we have to file anytime after April, but before October 1st. For that tax to begin.
But what I'm saying is, hasn't it been taken off for amount of time before?
No,
Oh,
no,
but
we're
that-
paying it right now. We've been paying it for,
Are you asking about suspended, Harvey, like during COVID or something?
Yeah,
Yeah, what
It's
suspended?
gas,
No.
that was gas, there's a portion of the gas
Was that
tax
gas?
that was
I thought it
motor
was
fuel
grocery.
tax that was.
it was part of that grocery.
Yeah, I thought so
Some
too.
stores did.
But it
do
was,
for
yeah, it was
weekend
very
or
small.
But we probably got COVID money to replace it or something, right?
A lot of
Yeah.
it, yeah, we got.
Yeah.
but what I'm trying to get at is, if it's been taken off before, has it been taken off for a year, then we should know somewhat
Yeah, no, it had,
what it amounts to.
no,
Not like this.
I think that's a good question, Harvey, but I think irrespective of how much it is with our needs for road infrastructure, more pickleball courts. No, we need the 1%. I just think we need the 1% irrespective of what we lost.
Yeah,
before.
no doubt.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, I
Yeah.
just thought there may be
Yeah.
a different route to go to find out how
yeah,
much.
And another way to think about it too is maybe just do not a full 1% and say, we're gonna put it down,
You gotta look like this.
right? Well, you gotta bring it up though.
Yeah,
You
right.
gotta bring it up. And one thing you can say is, look, I lowered your grocery tax.
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
I just think we're gonna get more complaints and lack of good roads than we are gonna be about a 1% grocery sales.
Yeah. I think we have to do it.
So, but please do think about that. Like I said, it could be increments of a quarter. Leaving it at 1%, nobody would notice the difference. But those are
So when are we voting on it, like before April?
after April, but
well, we can vote on it anytime.
Anytime,
There's some municipalities that have already approved it.
Let's go on.
Put it on the agenda for next.
Yeah, I know, but I know it's maybe between April and October.
I just want to, I know I've had it in my report for several months,
Yeah.
but I actually wanted to, I prepared the ordinance and put it on here for you and the community to be aware of it and to discuss it for maybe
Yeah.
at least a couple meetings.
the letter of the law is if you're gonna do it on January 1, 2026, you have to enact it by October 1 of 2025. And you choose the amount and you choose whether or not to enact it.
So we're gonna put a date of when we wanna approve or disapprove, or just leave it hanging in the wind?
Let's just vote on it. I mean,
Let's
we
do it
just
next
vote on
time.
it next time.
Let's vote on it next time. Put it on the agenda.
If you're ready to see an ordinance, yeah, which could be
Yeah.
moved and then you could
We can do-
amend it to whatever amount you wish.
It'd be silly not to do it.
I mean, if we're talking about it now, should we do it before our next group comes in? You know,
Yeah.
which is April, right?
May 1.
You're not
You can
gonna-
be the dirty dog.
You're not gonna replace me, but with some silly person, are you?
Oh, boy.
All right.
Leave that alone.
No, you could take it and run with it.
The city has heard the sentiment of the council. At this time, it would be appropriate for a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All right. At 7:42, I declare 7:43, we are in executive session.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, there,
I don't know.
nobody's online, but it's back up.
Yep, I saw a Facebook.
Okay. At 8:08, we are back in public session. There is one action item from executive session. And that is a motion to approve. We have an effective date on the raise.
13th.
Okay, effective January 13th,
Today.
2025. Nathan Jacobs' salary to be increased 3%.
For 4 months.
So moved.
Is there any further discussion? All right, that does involve money. We need a roll call vote. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Just, was she Ray Bruckner?
Yes.
Vern?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Harvey?
Yeah.
Brad? Motion carried.
Motion carries. At this time, a motion to adjourn is in order. Anybody opposed? None opposed at 8:09. I declare we're adjourned.
Like that hat, Greg.